most teams rarely reach their dreams, never reach their dreams, and I think one of the main reasons is they overestimate an event, the event, and underestimate the process. And that's going to be our biggest challenge, these next week, is not overestimating the event, patting ourselves on the back, listening to everybody talk about how good we played, and not remembering why we had success, which is the process that these guys have been going through for 8 months. So we'll see. Not one of our better practices today, and we got to get it going. So we need to exercise a little level of maturity of what good teams have, and we're not there yet.
When you play teams that are maybe not up to the standard that you're used to playing in the SEC, do you set maybe goals within a game? We want to hit these numbers, or we want to see this from different people.
We have the same goals every game, offensively, defensively, special teams, intangibles. Doesn't matter who you play. And if we achieve the goals, we have success in the game. So we don't approach any game any different. We really don't, because if you do, you're just setting yourself up for embarrassment.
Is there an update on Herman and how he felt out there today?
He's doing better, but he's still, what do we list him as?
Probable.
He's probable.
Derek, you mentioned in preseason, I think you mentioned it too when you were hiring Coach Palermo, about you thought he was one of the best D-line coaches in the country. Are you surprised that he was available, that you could hire him, and also what makes him such a good line coach?
Well, he's obviously got a lot of experience, and he's been at it a long time. What really impressed me just was his longevity of Wisconsin. When you see coaches who aren't moving a lot, it says something about them as a coach and their character. And I was surprised because the reason we got him was because his wife's from Tennessee and they got a farm down here. And that's the reality. He's not looking to coach another 15 years. So it was a real good fit, and Sal knew him from their NFL days, which made it a good fit. And I felt like our linemen needed some of that veteran, I hate to say the word gray hair, but that kind of experience and maturity at that position. So he's been a good addition for us, and he's done a great job.
Derek, I know you're disappointed with the lack of maturity maybe out there on the practice field, but does that in any way surprise you with this team? Did you kind of anticipate really having to push this group and make sure they understood it was just one game?
I don't know if I would say I was surprised or not surprised, but every time you venture into a new segment, you're wondering how are they going to handle it. Whether it started in the off-season, spring practice, summer program, training camp, first game, now this is a new segment. Coming off a good win, how are we going to respond? And so, we need to learn from it and get our minds right, ready for tomorrow, and have a good practice tomorrow, which I think they will.
Derek, you touched on it in terms of the maturity of the team, the 6 of 10 third down conversions in the second half. I think Tyler hit maybe his last 8 third down passes. Is there something about him specifically that makes him effective in those situations? His demeanor?
No, I just think that the poise that he demonstrated all through camp and in the off season paid off in the game. You never saw Tyler get frustrated or affected like maybe you saw last season or the year before when you're young. So I just think it's his level of growth, maturity, experience. He just kept playing.
What do you think it says about where you guys are as an organization to have only played 2 freshmen on Friday night?
Well, it just means we're a little deeper, a little more experienced, but it also means a lot of them are hurt. So we have a ton of freshmen hurt. I think we would have played more if they wouldn't all been hurt.
On defense, we have a game plan as aggressive and call it as aggressive as Sal did. Does that kind of bleed over to players like mindset and thinking the guys are more prone to flying around, being reckless, being aggressive?
Well, that's sort of what we preach every day. But flying around and being reckless doesn't mean you're not playing with scheme discipline. There's a level of discipline you have to play with on every snap. So learning to be aggressive, all right, have a little ownership in the play, but still play within the parameters of the system. That's the key. Sometimes we do it, and sometimes we don't.
How much of that defense kind of reflect just Sal's personality and just his energy and stuff like that?
Well, mean, I'm sure that's a contributing factor, but there's been a lot of, Dom Capers had some great defenses. I don't think his voice ever rose over decibel 2. So I don't think screaming is why we're having success. It's because we're coaching them well, the players are buying in, and the players are investing in it. We've got a good scheme, and the coaches are doing a great job. So I don't think it's the volume of the screaming that's helping us.
Derek, do you think streaks or any sort of motivation is something we write and talk about a lot? Like Tennessee hadn't won in the Georgia Dome in so long. Tennessee hadn't beaten Florida in so long. But when you're preparing a team for a game, you think that motivates them at all or helps them?
I've never ever even acknowledged that stuff, and maybe I should have last year. Because it works both ways, I guess. But I haven't. I don't think the prior 7 years has anything to do with what this game is, unless you let it. They used to say touchdown Jesus was the reason Notre Dame's winning. And when teams went in there and didn't acknowledge that touchdown Jesus had anything to do with winning and losing, they probably played better. So it's all what your mindset is. And if you think that there's a jinx or, you can't break this streak, then it's going to affect you. But if you don't even acknowledge it and just understand that it only comes down to how we perform, then it shouldn't matter.
So you don't address a team and say, hey, we hadn't beat this team in so many years, or we hadn't won in the Georgia Dome in so many years.
I never even talked about the Georgia Dome streak. I don't know why you would. All it does is they go, what? We haven't won? We can't win. I mean, please. I never coached in the Georgia Dome in Tennessee, and none of these kids ever played it. I don't think. A few of them did, I guess, in the
high school they did. Yeah.
In the Chick-fil-A, a few of them were in that bowl game, but it ain't because of the dome. It's probably because we stunk when we played there, or the other team was better.
You see how Marshall's team Friday. How well did he play over that corner?
He played really well. Did you say, what did I say to him?
No. What did you see out of him?
Oh, what did I see out of him? Yeah, he played really well. And he played the way he'd been performing in camp. Played aggressively, put his hands on guys. I think he had one little breakdown on a third down, but I was real pleased with him.
Starting with him this summer, he seemed like a guy who, I don't want to say grew up because he was always seemed like a pretty mature kid, but he just conducted himself a little bit differently, kind of stuck his chest out when he was walking around. Just seemed like he had a bit more confidence about him. Did you see that in him?
Yeah, probably another year, and also I think he believes in the techniques he's using. I think it's helped him. I think it helps him, kind of mandating him to play a little more aggressive.
Coach Big Howard was doing more out there today. Kind of where's he at?
Who's that?
Big Howard.
Yeah, he's slowly getting there, but he's not there. He's starting to jog and move around, but he's not. Christian Harris we're starting to integrate him a little bit, so we're hoping in another week or two he'll be ready, which we need him to be.
About Kurt, like he was maybe doing some stuff off the side at the beginning.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, he's just, he's banged up a little bit.
Derek?
Is there a common thread? And it seemed like a couple times in the game the offense had a chance, especially in the second half, to get the short field, be on the 2-yard line, left some points on the board maybe when the game could have been put away at that point. How bothersome is that, or was that just first game execution?
No, it was, yeah. I mean, the disappointing one was when we got down to 2. We jumped off sides, which was, don't need to do that. And then we had 2 throws, one-on-one, and we didn't execute the throw and catch. And so we got 3 points there. But then we dropped the 4th and 5. So it was just some simple execution. I don't think it was us not really performing. We just, we dropped the ball and we threw a bad pass. And that was really what it came down to on 2 drives.
Is that another part of learning how to win, is learning how to put the team away when they're kind of wobbling a little bit?
Yeah, but I thought we had a real good drive, and we got the ball with 5.5 minutes left and grinded it down to a minute and kicked the field goal. To me, that's a win. We went from 11 to 14, 4 minutes off the clock, and they get the ball back with a minute to go with 2 scores. So, we were pretty good in 4 minutes there. But yeah, we needed one more early in the 4th.
Excuse me, Derek, do you think you anticipate developing more depth in the offensive line as the season goes along? Or some of these guys you think you'll be able to maybe play more?
Well, we'll see. But certainly Marcus Jackson, we played him, Alex Bullard. We played both of those guys. So we played 7 in the game which is rare. I don't think we've ever done that unless injuries or we're just struggling so bad. And then, of course, you have Kyler, who's starting to develop pretty good, and Matt Crowder. So we'll see how they keep developing. But, yeah, it'd be nice to get him in there sometime.
Coach, did you notice any jitters from Tiny before the game?
Well, he jumped off sides the first play, which we had a bet that he would. Nobody bet on Tiny not jumping off sides. So, and we tried to call a play that was, you know, just the simplest, let him flat back somebody, and it didn't matter. I mean, he was juiced up. He made a lot of first game mistakes. He made a ton of them. He's going to be a good player, but he made a lot of mistakes. He's going to get better.
Doug, with ladders and everything he's been through, do you have conversations with avoiding the woe is me type of thoughts and, just another thing in the first game and still keeping his spirits up, through it all now this last year?
I really haven't. I just want him to go out there and lay it all out there. Look, he's never going to feel 100%. There's a level of acceptance, but you know what? Not many football players do during the season. It's just at some point you just accept I'm going to be hurt and I'm going to play, or I'm not going to play. I mean, it's one or the other. But it's hard to play this game halfway in, wanting to be 100%, or I'm going to go a little bit. You just can't do it. You got to throw it all out there.